like you to hit the like button at the beginning because every time you hit the like button, you are letting YouTube know that what you are seeing and hearing is edifying for you so it can be shared with others. That's why hitting the like button is so important. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing to the channel.
It had to happen. Your title was so powerful. When I read the name of your ministry, it had to happen.
Let's welcome our host, Erica Wilson.
Great day, everyone. We're here live today with your girl, Erica Wilson, and it had to happen for our Monday night motivation with Mothers of Motivated Sons and Bully Global. Do we have a treat for you guys on tonight? Our topic is bullying, flag on the play. I just want to apologize to everyone and thank you so much for your patience. We're here tonight. We're going to give you a great show. But let me go ahead and bring on my sissy, Sandra Perryman. Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
All right. If you could just go ahead and tell them a little bit about our show on tonight.
No one deserves to be treated poorly, no matter how they perceive themselves or what they actually do. We believe that bullying is not cool, and we're here to spread awareness and support those who have been affected by it. Now, if you've ever been bullied or harassed by someone who claims they're not a real bully, please know that your experience is valid. Remember, if someone claims they're not a real bully, but still does things that make you uncomfortable or put you in danger, please do not feel like you must accept it. Stand up for yourself and know that your feelings are valid.
All right. So without further ado, let me go ahead and present to some and introduce to others the beautiful Catherine. Representing. Hey. What team are you representing?
Of course, the Kansas City Chiefs. Love me whole. I'll represent accordingly here.
All right. And we have Matt. Welcome, Matt.
What's going on, everybody?
Hello.
All right. We have the Maurice, Bully the Bull. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey, how everybody doing today? Hopefully everybody's in good spirits. Good time to be here on this show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. And we have the Mr. Craig. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Pleasure being here.
Hello.
And then we have the Eric. He's a dirty bird, y'all. Welcome, Eric.
Hey, thank you very much. Rise up. ATL for sure.
All right. Then we have the beautiful Nikki from Tally.
Hey,
Hello, everyone.
All right, last but not least, D. Lewis. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Skull, what's going on, my beautiful people?
All right, I'm loving it. Thank you all for joining us on tonight for at Mothers of Motivated Sons to talk about this topic. This topic is much needed. Definitely something that we need to spread so much. Oh, we have another beauty in the building. Let's go ahead and bring in the beautiful Stacy. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
hello.
All right, we have the
Hi,
beauty in the
Stacy.
building with us this time. So, Mr. Maurice, we know that your time is short. So, if you want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about Bully Global, the floor is yours.
Yeah, first of all, I want to just say thanks to everyone part of Bullet Global 32. Thanks for you guys for having us a part of the show. And unfortunately, I'm dealing with my mother right now. She had knee surgery a couple of days ago, so I'm here, nursing mom, make sure she get back to good health. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm gonna tell you guys a little bit about Bully Global 32, and I think it's more than right for me to explain the reason why Bully the Bull was created first. May I do that?
Yes, of course.
All right. Okay. Well, this is the story of the whole Bully the Bull campaign. Okay. A couple of years ago, I had a daughter by the name of Marquavia Haney. She was bullied at school because she had type 1 diabetes. So I'm going to pretty much tell you guys the story to that. Okay. So one day she came to my house to visit me over the weekend. And she came in and said, "Dad, I need to talk to you about something. I have a real, it is time for me to talk to you about it now." So I said, "Okay, well, let's talk. My ears are open." So she said, "Okay, Dad. One day last week when I was at school, my sugar had fell low, and I needed to take my insulin shot. So I told the teacher, gave her the signal that my sugar's running low. So the teacher put her hand up and just told her she can go out and give herself a shot. So okay, well, when she went in the hallway to actually give herself a shot, one kid seen her giving herself a shot. And of course, it only take one kid pretty much to see this going on, and this can go to the next level real quick. So when the one kid seen her doing that, one kid went back in the classroom and sat down and probably told, and then she told other people about it. So when she walked inside the classroom, my daughter said she sit down. The whole left side of the classroom stood up and moved to the right side and said, "I don't want to sit by you. You're sick. You're a junkie. We seen you over there shooting up. I don't want to be your friend no more because we see that you're not right." So being a kid at 14 years old, my daughter really cried about that, and it really made my daughter feel bad. So the school called me. I went up there and addressed the situation. When I made the phone call, she told me that about the first time when she did that. So I addressed that situation. So the next time she said, "Well, Dad, next time I got something else to tell you." I'm like, "Okay, so what is it that you got to tell me now?" And she said, "Well, Dad, a couple of nights ago when I visited my auntie Mimi, I literally contemplated suicide. Okay, I walked up the stairs and I had a sheet tied around my neck. And as I walked up the stairs, I tied the sheet around the banister of the top of the stairs, and I was about to jump, Dad. But the only thing made me not jump is because her baby sister was there, crying, telling her don't do it. So her baby sister really saved her life that night because that's the reason why she didn't do it. So, of course, being a parent, when you hear words like that, the first thing I think I could have lost my daughter. So, being a father, I had to think of something real quick to make my daughter feel better. So I said, "I tell you what, the next time you come over next weekend, make sure you come next weekend. Well, I got a surprise for you." So okay, so time went by. We ate some McDonald's that night, and she went home the next morning. So that next following weekend, she came over. Mother dropped off. She came over. She knocked on the door. Okay, I looked out the door. And I seen this with her. I said, "Hey, give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back." So I ran upstairs, put my Bully the Bull costume on, ran back downstairs, opened the door, and she looked at me with a smirk and she said, "Dad, I like that. Who are you?" And I said, "My name is Bully the Bull, and I will protect you and the kids for the rest of my life." So since 2017, I've been going around doing anti-bullying programs for the kids because I don't want no kid to feel the way my kid felt that night. So I dedicated my life 5 years ago to making sure no kid feel the pain that my daughter felt. And that was and that's how Bully the Bull was born. Now, fast forward it to the Bully Global 32. I was definitely contemplating this. God put it in my spirit to do it. So I contacted Nikki and I asked Nikki, I said, I want to do uh, Bully Global 32, a couple of things for the fan. Uh,
You went out, Maurice.
Sorry about that. I wanted to do a couple of things with the fans, so I want to create something definitely that we can take this across the country because we know there's a lot of bullying going on at the NFL games, as we all know that. So I contacted Nikki, and I asked Nick. I said, Nikki, I need to definitely form one of the strongest armies that I can of ambassadors. And when I told Miss Nikki about it, she thought about it. She pretty much was following me on Facebook. She pretty much was seeing all I was doing. And Miss Nikki said, Mr. Valentine, I will help you form this team. So I really want to say, I really want to say this again. I really appreciate Nikki introducing me to all these awesome people who I have met now. And that's exactly the reason why we are ready to do what we need to do to make sure no kid and no adult will ever be bullied again, because that's exactly what Bully the Boy and Bully Global 32 represents. And that's basically why I reached out to Nikki to form Bully Global 32.
Absolutely. First of all, again, I send my condolences, first of all. But what you're doing, Maurice, it's just so amazing that you found it in your spirit to be able to push forward after losing your daughter. And then you have all of these wonderful people that stand behind you. So you mentioned Nikki and you spoke about Nikki. So Nikki, we're going to start with you. What made you join forces with Maurice, and what made you want to, push this vision even further?
Well, what Maurice did not tell you is that I did not know Maurice and Maurice did not know me. So when he called me, it was just out of the blue. And I was like, okay, who is this guy or whatever? So he told me what he wanted to do. And I had seen posts on Facebook because someone had alerted me to him. And I did start following him or whatever. And so I told him to give me a couple of days, let me research, get some history or whatever. And so I did, kind of consulted with some, people. Of course, you know how we do our own little background checks or whatever. But then we got to talking and he was just so sentimental about that. And at the time that he contacted me, McQuavia, she was still living. Yeah, she was still living. And his mission was what he wanted to do. And then we were talking and he would tell me he was going to the hospital. And then the one day he told me she had passed. And I just, my heart just sank and I was like, yeah. And then I could just tell his spirit. He was like, I got to get this done. I'm even more eager to do this now. And I just felt honored that he asked me. And I have met so many wonderful people around the NFL just from being in this, I guess, super fandom type, position or whatever. And so um, I met Matt on the stage at the draft. They was just like picking people unanimously to come do the opening ceremony in Kansas a couple years ago. And I met him there and we hit it off on stage and just stayed in contact. I looked him up on Facebook and we just, same thing with Catherine. Catherine was looking for tickets for the Chiefs and I think she bought the whole Jag Stadium. I never seen nobody buy that many tickets. Okay. So yeah, she had the Jaguar Stadium in the Sea of Red. I met Stacy in a football group just recently, but I put out a post, hey, anybody in here lives in Cleveland, and she hit me back and she was like, sure, I'll do that. Same thing with Eric. I met him at the draft here, this past draft in Detroit. That was my first time meeting Eric. And of course, I met Craig through Maurice because his position with Bully the Bull, and then Louis. Maurice actually introduced me to him. But all of these people here have been genuine. We are family, and listening to Maurice's story and actually seeing him work, and then after everything happened, he was just jet set on ready to go, and I just had to help him. I had to.
Awesome, man. I tell you, and I already know firsthand what you do. And I already know how you can do it. So thank you so much for making the connection, Nikki. But you mentioned Matt first, so we're gonna jump on over to Matt now, which is a Colts fan. Okay, guys.
That's right.
I mean, Matt. Sorry.
How's it going?
Good.
Yeah, I think this is a good platform. I've worked with youth in the schools before through my job as a firefighter and deputy at the sheriff's department. So this is just a real good platform to drive this into the schools because it is a ongoing issue and it's been an issue. There's just not a lot of platforms for it. So when Nikki got a hold of me, I thought this was a perfect group to work with and met a lot of people, and Maurice has done an outstanding job and definitely what's needed out there. A lot of places.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for, I'm going to say for serving, because you put your life on the line every day when you.
No, you're welcome. No worries. My pleasure.
So thank you so much for being a first responder. Thank you. All right, let's go over to Mr. Craig, because we know Mr. Craig. What is your position here, Craig? If you could tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I'm the president of the foundation, and it's an honor to be that. I met Maurice through the CEO of the foundation, Flip Montgomery, who we've been doing some business ventures together in the entertainment industry and also the health and wellness space. And he introduced me to Maurice, and we just had a conversation, and the conversation, just talking to Maurice, you feel how sincere he is. Just a genuine person. Like, it's very rare to meet someone that is just genuine, like the kindness in their heart and the sincerity and passion behind his objective is just honest. And so I have a passion for one to do things with children, and I'm still, striving to get to that point. And just talking to him and understanding, truly being on both sides of being bullied and also being a bully, and kind of just going back and forth is what I think a lot of the misunderstanding about bullying and being bullied is a lot of times both, and and it's just behavior that's coming from something else that's deeply rooted. And so him allowing me to get to the point where after we get finished with getting the infrastructure and getting everything rolling, allow me to actually interact with the children and tell my story and my perspective and my experiences is just a dream come true. It just I couldn't have asked for a better organization to be a part of. And so that's basically why I'm here with Maurice. Something about myself. Let's see. I married for almost 30 years. We have 5 children. Was an Air Force veteran. Was in the defense contracting world for a long time, and then I got out of that space in around 20, I don't know, somewhere late 2016, somewhere around that time, and just had a radical change of outlook on life in general. So from there, just things have changed drastically, and they led me to this podcast and Maurice and a few other things that I'm sure I'll be able to talk about a little later. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much. First of all, salute to you, and thank you for serving as well. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
I had a really good time.
That is so awesome. we're gonna save you, Miss Catherine, for last because you know y'all are four-time Super Bowl champions or whatever. So we'll let you, yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and move it over to the Dirty Bird. Where are you, Eric? Come on.
Rise up, rise up, rise up. Hey, like you stated, I'm representing the Atlanta Falcons, better known as the Dirty Birds. Like Nikki stated, I met Nikki for about met her about in about 15 minutes. We had a real good time in Detroit at the draft. Maybe like a week or two after the draft, she gave me a call, and I was all in on this because one thing I found out is not just kids getting bullied. What I'm gonna talk about right now is what I witnessed in Atlanta at the games here. Adults are being bullied. Fans are being bullied. I'm in a group called we call ourselves the Dirty Bird Nest, and I know for a fact that it has to be the only stadium or only team in the NFL that has one section. Maybe we have about 1,000 seats dedicated to strictly Falcon fans. Other teams with other jerseys can't even come in that particular section. We're in section 134, and in that section, we call ourselves the super fans. And now, outside of our section, I've definitely seen where adults are being bullied, even if you can't blame it on the alcohol all the time. Even something as simple as you can't sit there. I'm holding someone, or you got to get up. Little simple things like that where you don't realize that you're being bullied. But it's definitely not just the kids. And we have at the top of our section, Miss Ardelia, and she recognizes that. So when I had a long talk with her before I even met Nikki, and once I met Nikki, I started thinking about some of the things I observed. And this up and coming season, we plan to implement everything that we do here with Bully Global, and I'm definitely excited to be a part of the organization.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to share something with you later on because you said it's a section where no other jerseys can come, right?
Right.
I'm going to tell you guys, when we think about bullying, we don't think about the things I'm going to mention. And when I even read it, I was like, oh my God. So we're going to shed so much light here on tonight. I mean, we have so many people, so many different views that we're coming from. And I hope somebody takes something from this and get Bully Global 32 inside of their schools, inside of your teams, wherever it may be. But we're going to jump into that a little later. So come on, Mr. Lewis.
Skull, baby.
All right.
So, I met Maurice through another group a couple of years ago. And I was just fascinated on what he was doing with the bully and all that. And I was like, we started talking and he kept telling me, Lewis, don't worry about it. I'll keep you in hand. I want to get you involved with me and, be an ambassador for the Minnesota Vikings. And I thought nothing of it. I said, all right, fine. Another year went by. I didn't really hear much. And then he contacted me as of 6-7 months ago. He introduced me to Nikki. And, yeah. And I now I'm getting to know everybody else here. I mean, I'm loving it. I'm all about the kids. I mean, that's one of the things I love about superfanning and getting all geared up, painting my face. It's just a joy to see those kids smiling and and just having a great time. And it's what about. In Minnesota, we also go. I'm involved in a group called the Viking World Order. We do a lot of charity work. We go to the Children's Hospital. Anything that has to do with helping the children, I'm in. I'm always going to be in. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
You for being here and joining forces with Global 32 is much needed. But as you know, though, even some adults need it, believe it or not, because a lot of adults really we could be in an adult body, but we need to be healed as our maybe a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes that bully could come through the areas where we didn't heal. And I spoke to you guys about that on last night, but I think I'm talking about you all are doing a phenomenal job. So let me go ahead and bring in this Browns, this Miss Beautiful Stacy. Come on, Stacy, and tell us all about you.
Good evening, everyone. I am Stacy, and I represent the dog pound of CLE.
All
um,
right.
it was a no-brainer for me when Nikki asked. Initially, she just asked who was in Cleveland, and when I talked to her, it was a no-brainer for me. I have an adult son who is on the spectrum, and we went through this as a child, so it was actually a no-brainer. The other side of it is I'm a social worker. I work in the schools. I work with adults now that are seniors, so I've seen it on both aspects. So it was simply a no-brainer. I'm able to help on the backside, have different conversations when different things come up and render my professional expertise on how certain things should be handled. So for that, am super excited about the program. I was just looking at the Duval itinerary and just trying to gather a lot of that and with the heat. So I'm super excited about where Bully Global is going to go and what we're going to do with this program.
Well, thank you for putting in your expertise with Global 32. Like I said, when you have so many people with so many gifts, some of us with the same gifts, you can touch so many people. And our kids are what? Our future leaders. We definitely need to pour into them. So y'all know Miss Casey is getting all the love in the comment section. I'm gonna let my sissy shout out the comment section after Miss Casey. Come on up in here, Miss four-time Super Bowl champion. It's okay. It's okay. Somebody have something for you. They say we shall see in February who will be at Super Bowl 59. Come on, Miss.
Absolutely. Appreciate the invite to this, by the way, Maurice. You're the best. Nikki, huge shout outs. And thank you, Chiefs Kingdom. I'm seeing this joining. They show up. We show up. So Catherine Basket, my super fan name. I think all of us get a little uncomfortable with saying that at times, but Casey Glitzen. I got involved with this, yes, through my NFL sister Nikki. My heart and mind has always been a very much diverse, inclusive personality. I have a mixed son. I've got a daughter, and so and I've moved around a lot. So I've seen a lot through my years. I've always kind of been that personality, and so as I kind of increased in getting to know more and more people within the kingdom, I went to NFL draft 3 or 4 years ago was my first one. And I realized there was so much more beyond our fan club of the kingdom. And when I connected to truly what I call now is my NFL family, it's then that I realized I needed to do more. I needed to be more involved in things like this. And I love it. If I go to a game, an away game, as Nikki mentioned, it is all about not just bringing the kingdom, and we show up, but it's about connecting the kingdom in that local area. And I feel through connection and showing other adults and their kids that they're bringing to these games, you can have friendly banter between teams. You can do it in a very kind way. Nikki and I'll still banter here and there. We'll throw shade at each other here and there. But at the end of the day, we're going to hug and we're going to love and we're going to bring peace and connection and everything to anything and everything that we do. And that's what I fell in love with the whole BG32. You are seeing faces from all different NFL teams on here. We all have a lot of the same things in common. We're all after those trophies for sure. But at the end of the day, I'm going to support whoever wins it. I'm going to love them just like a brother went out and worked his tail off. The family, the same way. I've actually seen some of the NFL players' families being bullied and harassed and things. And it's just, I feel there's so much more we can do to provide safer environments, not just at NFL games, but in our schools, at our school sporting activities. So I'm really excited for all of this. And I'm sure Maurice and them will comment, but Kansas City's going to be, I think, kicking it off this year. So I'm super excited over that. So thank you and blessed to be here today. Appreciate you guys for the invite.
Thank you for being here. So come on, Sissy said, you guys have the audience the viewers are blowing up. And I didn't want them to think that we were just ignoring them. I just wanted to get through with everyone. So this is how we're going to do it. We want to get everybody involved. So we're going to start with bottom first, which is Nikki. You're going to read a comment and you're going to shout out that person. I hope God leads you. Here we go. Our kids need to learn to lose in order to win. Shouts out to you. I hope I'm saying this right. Hey, Helena, Miss Sands. I'll just say that. Come on, Stacy.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Can you see?
I'm sorry, I had to unmute. I'm going to go with
It's up on the
Vincent DiCarlo. Community, unity, peace, love, and joy. I absolutely love it.
Come on, Mr. Lewis.
Josh Christensen. Hello, Catherine Biscuit Cook.
Okay, come on, Dirty Bird.
Okay, I'm reading Carolyn Carter. What I love about true fans, we are family, and all that matter is respect and fandom and energy.
Okay, come on, Mr. Craig.
Vincent DiCarlo, any given Sunday.
Come on, Mr. Matt.
All right. Vincent also says marketing, networking, peace, love, and joy, bringing it all together.
All right, Miss 4-time Super Bowl.
We don't have to say that every time. Now I'm starting to blush. Shout outs to my Annette. She's a fellow super fan with me. Her whole love this so much, you matter. Those words matter. And I really want to take that home to everybody. You do matter. Everybody matters in some way, shape, or form.
Yes, you do. All right, Sissy, you're going to bring it on in. The comments are going to come fast because we definitely want to jump into this topic. Come on, Sissy, Stan. Here we go.
Okay. Helena says, love you. I know this. You are exceptional in every way. Carolyn says, Eric, you represented well. # rise up.
All right, I got this one. Come on,
Vincent DiCarlo says, show up loud, proud. Vincent says, we shall see in February who will be at Super Bowl 59. I'm with you on that one. Kansas City Ringmaster says, shout out to KC Glitzen. Vincent says, spicy salsa of DiCarlo's red salsa is the way we tailgate and watch party. Vincent also says, tailgating in KC is a partying. Vincent, loud, proud, 3-peat.
All right, I'm going to let the Dirty Bird read this one because that's for him. Come on, Eric.
I'm trying to see which one is this? Mine is
it's on the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen, but only thing I see is at the end. I see something from Annette. At the end of the day, we all love football. We have that in common. You may have to read the one that you see specifically for the Dirty Birds because I can't see it.
Okay, come on, Sissy.
It's from Lisa Shepard. It says, speak on the air. Adults can be out of control, too, when it comes to bullying.
Oh, yes. Thanks, Lisa. You know this, girl.
Kansas Ringmaster says, love this. My daughter-in-law says, hello, everyone. LaQuanza. My niece, amazing. Latrice Hunter, blessings all. Adam Neff, be Chiefs. Darlene Andrews, hello all. Superstar Shannon the Jaguar says, blessed day. And Nat Ketter says, love this so much, you matter. Gotta Linda says, great intro stream.
Mhm.
My son Darius
You
says,
need it.
great evening, everyone. My other son says, good evening. Twin says, good evening, everyone. Superstar, my husband, says, hello, everyone.
All right, all right, all right. So let's go ahead and jump into this topic, y'all,
What?
because when I read this, it's going to literally blow everyone's mind, because at the end of the day, I never even looked at it like this. And we were talking about the kids. However, we know that as adults, we spoke about it, that you could get bullied at the games. Sometimes when my sissy and I, we're sitting in the stands and we're surrounded by the fans, that definitely can happen, because we have this thing here where we don't want to get 86-32. So we just let my sissy tell you about the 86-32, because we don't want you guys to get 86-32 either. Come on, sissy.
It's funny that their title is Bully Global and 32 Platinum. And with that is the 86-32 came about if you're at a game and you get into a conflict, you don't want to get into a conflict because you don't want to get 86, which is thrown out of 32 stadiums. So we came up, my son came up with 86-32. Don't get 86-32. So maybe you all can tell us how not to get 86-32.
Absolutely. So let me go ahead and read this here, and y'all please pay attention. It's a little lengthy, but I have to get this in really quick. Maurice, are you still there? Because I want you to hear this as well. Is Maurice still here? Okay, here we go. It says, remember, it's
Yes, I'm here. I'm still listening. Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. It says, remember, it's crucial to create a safe and inclusive environment for everyone. Let's start by understanding what bullying is. It's when someone repeatedly does something to hurt or upset another person, and they have more power or control over the victim. Bullying can take bullying can take many forms, such as spreading rumors, name calling, hitting or kicking, taking valuables without permission, excluding someone from social groups, spreading hurtful rumors, making threatening gestures or actions towards someone in a way that intimidates them or causes fear. There's also a type of bullying called financial abuse. And it can occur when someone in your life takes advantage of your money or financial situation. My God. For example, if someone keeps asking for money continuously and use it for themselves, that's a form of financial abuse. Remember, you deserve respect and kindness. All of us do, right? And it says here, from everyone in your life. Financial abuse is just as harmful as any other type of bullying. So let's be aware of it and support each other in combating it. Now let's talk about how we could be an upstander instead of a bystander. An upstander is someone who speaks out against bullying and supports those who are being bullied. Bystanders may witness bullying but do nothing about it. So how can you become an upstander? Guys, we're throwing the flag on bullying today. Not just that we're throwing the flag on bullying, but we're blowing the whistle as well. All right? What do you guys think about that? Because let me tell you something. When I read that and I saw different forms, and I'm sure I didn't touch many of them. I just found a few of them. What do you guys think about that? Starting with anyone who want to chime in on it.
Yeah, it's several forms. It's many forms. Mental bullying, physical bullying. So, and like you actually said to us in the meeting, it could be female bullying, male bullying, kid bullying, adult bullying, and people playing the victim bullying, all of that. So yeah,
I think the worst part we have right now is the social media bullying. I see it every day, everything going on, and it is absolutely out of control anymore.
Cyberbullying.
It's the cyberbullying,
Yeah.
and I see it coming from adults more than anything.
Yep.
And particularly in the very divided nature we're in right now in our country, politically, everything. I don't want to get into politics on my end here, but it's sad. It's sad that this is where we're at. So I do think I wish there were platforms like this that trump over any of the social media that's going on today. If kids need a safe place just to come, if adults need a safe place just to join and talk about it and talk about their situations with bullying, even if they were the bully themselves and didn't really recognize. I think that's really tough in today's world. It's happening so quickly, particularly on social media. I don't think people really understand that that's what they're doing. So I think there needs to be a lot of education on what it means and the words you say, the words you type, even your actions that you're showing, and how that can be perceived to others. And I'll say this last bit, move on to somebody else. I'm also seeing many people playing a victim, hearts out to those truly a victim, but truly what's happening is that narcissistic kind of behavior of they really aren't the victim, they are the aggressor. And so
Yes, ma'am.
I see that as their way to gain people around them and to make this larger force. And so I also think it's very good to have stuff like this so that people recognize that behavior. Be very careful on whether or not somebody's a victim or the antagonist.
And we're going to go ahead and we're going to throw the flag on that one.
When it comes to bullying, I do a lot of programs, and when we go inside the school system to do the program,
You're out, Maurice.
I think we lost him, but we have a comment here that I definitely want to address. Wow. Let me see if I can find it. But okay, here we go. I survived an abusive marriage. No one, and I mean no one, ever in my presence will be bullied in any way. Stand up, lead by example. Who want to attack that question right there or address this one here? Because that right there is, again, it's not just kids. It's happening as an adult. So any one of you can speak on that comment.
I know Annette personally, and she is a survivor. She has the mentality that I'm talking about where she doesn't play that victim. And I think that's the difference. So recognizing her story and the surviving of that story versus her using that story to gain attention of others. She is a true example of getting this type of behavior to stop and helping others recognize it and getting out of those situations. And by all means, the last part I say is the most important because I don't think bullying is ever going to stop altogether. It's going to be part of our lives. It's surviving that and knowing it will not define you unless you let it define you. Don't let it define you. You have resources. We're resources here. Don't let it be who you are in the future. Most of the time, the bullying is temporary, situational, things of that nature. There is tomorrow. You're going to rise above it at some point in time. Trust in that, but take measures to ensure that you're out of that.
Absolutely. I want to go back to what you said too about sometimes, excuse me. Oh my God, we're going to get through this. I want to go back to what you said, not verbatim, but speaking about basically collecting people to hate the person as well. As far as you have to blame that person too for allowing their ears to be poisoned. Because the thing is, if we block that noise out, you understand what I'm saying? We can, we won't be a part of the problem. We'll be a part of the solution. because they'll
Mm-hmm.
know, okay, I can't go to her or him with this. I have to really protect my ear gates because I want to protect my spirit, because what a man thinketh, so is he. So whatever's in their heart is going to come out. So
Yep.
if we're allowing people to pour things into us that's not so positive, it's going to come out so wrong. And we spoke about bullying and not even recognizing it.
Mm-hmm.
That was me.
Mm-hmm.
It was me, and I can be transparent about it. And again, someone said, and I don't know who was it said about sometimes a bully have been bullied,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So true.
Correct.
So true. Makes any sense? I mean, do it make it anything lighter? No. But we need to get to the root cause of the bully. You understand? Not looking at the act, right? Because what's happening here, we need to be looking at who the person is being used by, per se, the person himself or herself. Because at the end of the day, if we allow the enemy to use us, that's just what he's going to do. And when we're attacking others, it says nothing about the person that's they're attacking. It says everything about the person who's doing the attacking. So we
Yeah.
spoke
Mm-hmm.
about the cyberbullying. I call them thumb thugs. That's what I call them. And you're sitting behind the screen. If our kids are not having a good game, and Sissy, you could chime in. If our kids may have dropped, my son was a receiver. If he may have dropped the ball, or he may have even missed a tackle because he used to go and tackle people too. Oh my God, it could be real bad. But if these kids are on there and they're looking at this, that could put them in a bad funk. And it's just like people do not even care.
Yeah.
So this is why we have these platforms for moms. We're not telling anybody what to do. We're just sharing our journeys, because our kids are human. Sissy, you could chime in on it because it happens a whole lot when we're
Yes.
sitting there in those stadiums.
Yes. Not just as a fan, but as a parent sitting in the stand and you hearing the fans.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by the fans and they're sitting there saying these things about your child, and it makes you want to just react and respond. But sometimes you have to hold back from saying certain things because you don't want it to escalate further than what it could. So a lot of times we're being bullied as well as our kids, and our kids don't even know that they're being bullied because
Mm-hmm.
they don't hear it. We hear it. So we have to sit there and intake it and be like, okay, are we going to respond? Are we not going to respond? But then over time, if it keeps on, keeps on, keeps on for me, and I'm just being transparent, I will respond
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can
because
I jump in here real quick?
yeah,
Um,
sure.
I want to touch on a couple things that quite a few people said, and I'm reading the comments that are a couple of them are very well. In my world, and I want to go back to what Erica and Casey kind of said. In my world, we say hurt people hurt people. A lot of times, the bully does not know what they're doing. A lot of it is, it's peer pressure. They ain't even a bully in their real life. They go home, but they're being pressured by somebody else. Um, I think in our communities now we have not embraced the world of getting help and going to therapy as well. I think Helena Miss Sands brought up a good point that we also need to take accountability for our actions. Um, that's sometimes easier said than done. If we have not been taught accountability, if we have not been given the resources or led in a direction, we can't. Some people are put in scenarios where they have a wraparound services, wraparound programs that they are then ultimately led where they have to be accountable, that it leads to being in a court system or something they have no choice but to be. Fortunately, where Maurice has created this network that we can begin to be resources in 32 initially states that we can begin to be those resources, where we can lead those individuals to different places where they can begin to be held accountable, where they can begin getting those services, where they can get therapy, where they can begin to heal, so they don't continue to hurt people. I think a lot has been said here. There are some excellent comments that are coming in, but we have to begin with the kids because they're seeing a lot of harm. A lot of these children in these inner city schools are in abusive homes. So they're seeing their parents being abused and seeing fighting and stuff going on. So they're going back to school and acting out what they are seeing. So this program is going to begin to address those things in the schools. But we also, once those calls are becoming in for the adults, we have to have those resources as adults to begin to help them. So that's where these ambassadors are going to begin to help so we can begin to also give those the resources. So I just wanted to jump in and say that because I'm reading the comments and everybody is giving some good points.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing she had two black eyes, a broken nose, and
Wow.
it's just again, and she said she had a 6-year-old with a 6-year-old. I had someone on the show where
Mm.
her boyfriend tried to decapitate her. You
Oh,
know, and the thing is, do we see red flags? Do we
mm-hmm,
really?
we do.
Or are we saying that, oh, they're just some bad kids, or they're just being bad, or they just want attention? We have to really stop and think, why is this child acting the way that they are? Especially if it's a repeated thing, if they do it repeatedly. You understand? Because I can only speak about me. Is there were some things that I was doing and it was normal to me. And guess what? It wasn't that I was treated bad at home. That's not what it was. It's that someone took control and I had no control. You understand? Not someone, five took control and I didn't have control. So now, as an adult, guess what I'm thinking? What when I came of age and been able to think about that thing the right way? Oh, nobody is gonna hurt me ever again.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is you begin to bleed on people that did not cut you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, come on.
I think a lot too, Erica, and I think I struggle with this day to day, and particularly our kids. Everybody wants to fit in. And again, I think this is a struggle we have in today's society more than ever because we're so divided, but yet everybody wants to belong. And you don't really
Mm-hmm.
know where you want to belong, you just want to be accepted somewhere. So I think the more we give kids spaces to be accepted in their healthy spaces versus these negative spaces, it's better. My son has the best group of friends, and I know I'm constantly like, be more like me, go be social, you need to have more friends. And then I have to reel myself in and realize, no, this is what works for him. This is his safe spot. These boys are doing nothing but being great human beings. They are still there for anybody that needs, but this is his safe place. I also struggle with the question, and maybe there's somebody that can answer this for me here. You guys had mentioned accountability and that we need to hold people accountable. And I struggle. When do you hold somebody accountable versus holding them so accountable that you become the problem yourself? Such a fine line between those two things. It's one thing to bring attention to something, but you got to be careful in the way that you bring attention to it because what you don't want to do is become the person embarrassing the bully themselves. It's
Mm-hmm.
just going to be repetitious and then. So
So
I
I
need
think you have to
to be
differentiate between accountability and enabling that
yes,
person.
yeah,
And so when you get to the point that they become dependent on you, now you're enabling, and you have to differentiate when you are going to make them stand on their own two feet, or you going to keep make them accountable for their own actions. And only you can determine. It's that same saying I just keep hearing my mother say it. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you'll do something about it.
And I think, Stacey, that's what our kids need to learn. I think it's sad that they have to learn that so young these days. But
It's
the
tough to
amount
learn.
of, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think the amount of children entering into mental illness situations and suicidal and things of that nature. I mean, I'm not a genius. I don't know the stats, but I know they're way higher than what they've ever been before. And
Absolutely.
I feel that a lot of it is our kids not learning the tools of that very thing you just said, Stacey, of it's okay. Don't live in fear. You don't have to live in fear. Bring it to the right attention, bring it to the right people, find your space of other places. You don't have to live in that space.
And may I chime in? Normally, see, we do a 45-minute program for the kids, right? And we have a part in our program when we ask the kids how many kids have been bullied. 80%, 80% of the people that's the kids in the audience raise their hands. 80%. And you know what? The teachers, the principals, they look around and be like, we didn't have no idea. But with this mascot, he brings it out a lot of people because a lot of kids feel safe when they see Bully the Bull. And they feel that they can tell him their problems. And the hurtful part to me is when I see this, I'm saying to myself, we have a lot of kids living in fear, living in hurt. And a lot of kids do not even tell the parents or the
Maurice,
teachers.
you want to know why?
But when Bully the Bull comes,
Maurice,
yeah,
you want to know why?
yeah,
Because
I'm
the
listening.
parents is the abuser.
Think about all of us. Watch
I'm
this.
listening. Yeah.
All of us. We have all of us parents.
Mm-hmm.
When your child, as a child, do something that they should not do, and you spank them, what is the first thing you're saying to them? Moms, I want you to answer that. And then fathers, I have a question for you. What are the first things that we saying to our children?
I have to admit, normally, Eric, I'm irrational, so I forget.
You better not cry.
Yeah, you better
not cry. Watch this. Fathers, if your son or your daughter fall down, I'm going to say son, your son falls down off of a bicycle and scratch up his leg, and he's crying to you, what you're going to say to him?
Men don't
Stop
cry.
crying and do it again.
Walk it off.
Yeah, be
There
tough.
you go,
You're
right
a man.
there. So here we go. Here lies the problem. We're instilling fear in our children by telling them that. Because if they're hurt, how dare you to tell them that you better not cry or man up?
Yeah.
They're expressing themselves. So you're letting them know that you don't have a voice, basically, because I just spanked you. I inflicted pain onto you. And I'm telling you, don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We could be bullies as parents. Anybody could take this.
I've noticed too, when you talk about the kids in school, like when a lot of us were in school, we didn't have obviously the social media side to it, where we might see bullies or get bullied, and then we go home, everything would go away the next day. Now these kids are just subjected to it nonstop. They might not even be part of it, but everything's going on in the social media background. They get on the bus and it's just nonstop for these kids. And unfortunately, I mean, it's like it on the mental health side too. A lot of these schools don't have the resources. It's not an excuse, but they just don't have the resources because it is so widespread. And I think they're kind of in the reactive state as being proactive because I think it's just everybody's so far behind the 8 ball with it. But these kids are just subjected to it nonstop. And I think that's what's hard to get. I have 3 boys, and someone's on the spectrum, and he's had issues at school. And you work with the schools and they're trying, but at the end of the day, it's hard. But I think that the social media piece and the cyberbullying, there's just so much that can go on that I think it's hard for these kids to get ahead of their own.
Yep, it's
Matt,
called
Nate,
peer pressure. Peer pressure is the worst.
Yeah.
They just want to fit in. You know, you have a lot of people out here that I have boys that just it is what it is, you know? And I have people come telling me all the time, you know, why I was, you know, acting like this? Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Like, you know, they just try to fit in.
Yep.
And I will never understand like the peer pressure of it or what it is that they go through. I think social media is just the root of half of it too, because
It's
they're
called
we can go even to music now. The music is crazy. You know, it just they bully through music.
Yep.
If you
And
think
I think
about it.
the cyber side affects adults just as much as kids, unfortunately.
Well,
Yeah,
our
because
kids are
sometimes that
seeing,
adult haven't healed.
Yes, and
our kids are
right,
seeing
right.
what we're
And
seeing
see,
on
as
social
another part
media.
that I was,
Go ahead, Maurice.
I think
yeah,
it's fun.
and a lot that I was seeing, I was just pretty much. Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yes.
I hear you.
Hello.
Yes,
Yes.
we
we
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, and a lot. Y'all hear me? Okay. And a lot goes on. Like I said, when we do a 45-minute program, and we have implemented in the program, we have a section when we ask the kids how many kids have been bullied, and when I tell you 80% of the kids raise their hands, and the teachers and the principals look around like, y'all, I wasn't aware of that. But I just think it's something about, and you guys going to witness that as we do the schools. I just think it's something about that mascot that the kids can feel comfortable with, just telling Bully the Bull. I had plenty of kids would run up to me after the program in tears, crying, and say, I ain't being bullied. He's bullying me. Or, I mean, it's just a lot that goes on with that. So we came up with another part of our program called Bully 101. Okay, Bully 101 is I created a bully tip jar that I put inside each and every office where we do our programs. Okay, and the bully tip jar means if it's any kid that's being bullied, they can write their names down and what grade they in, and they could go inside the office and put it in the tip jar, and now they're anonymous. You see what I'm saying? So the principals and the guidance counselors can get the names out and read, okay, this kid that got the problem. This the kids that got the problem. And then when we get that section of it, Bullet the Book go back to the schools with the guidance counselors and the police officers, and we get to the root of the problem. And by that way, with the Bullet the Board tip jar, that kid can be safe then. He ain't got to worry about saying, oh, you snitching, or no, that wasn't cool. We seen you telling. No, you would not know this because the Bullet the Board tip jars will be located in all the offices. So if a kid had a problem, write your name down and just drop it inside the Bullet the Board tip jar. The guidance counselors get it. They know what the problem is. And we had a whole lot of success in doing the Bullet the Board tip jar. And we can do that across the country. I'm not saying we're going to stop everything, but I know we can save a lot of kids by having the tip jars. Because now the principals and the guidance counselors will know who's having the problem.
Wow.
Right. And
Craig,
it's
this
like
one for
somebody
you.
said, it's the bullying. Sometimes it may be that they're bullying because they're being bullied or just really trying to fit in.
Yeah.
And so they do things that they really don't want to do, and they're just doing it just to fit in. I think that's the most prominent part of bullying in schools these days. They'll bully somebody just so the bully don't bother them. You know?
Yep. Yep. Craig,
Well,
I
I
want
want.
you to
They
I have
say
a
need to be part
question.
of the cool
Yes,
crowd. You know, it's the cool thing. The
Yeah.
more
Mm-hmm.
power you have, the more people around you,
Mm-hmm.
the better off they feel they are. So it's a way
Right.
to get these kids to understand it's really not that cool. And what's temporary in school, 12 years of school, can stick with both sides for the rest of their lives and
Mm-hmm.
start to mold them into that. So it's understanding like that may be something to get you through school, but what are you going to be and do once you're out of school? Those people won't
Right.
be going with you and they won't be protecting you. in the
Mm-hmm.
end. So yeah, it's a complete mentality shift. I think the healthier things are available to kids to do, the better off we are in society for sure. And that goes
Right.
for adults too. Like create
Right.
the healthy environments and they'll have something to fill that time.
Yeah. Sissy, we're gonna come to you with your question, but Craig, could you take this? Kids are afraid to report abuse and bullying because they send the state home. The state does nothing, but then the kids in trouble for doing the right thing.
Um, well, clearly that's an issue and a frustration that Helena has experienced. What I will say when it comes to children and adults in general, just people in general, like you touched on earlier, important. and and those emotions that are attached to those thoughts are what actually fuels your experience in this world. And when you're a child, you have the ability to dream and imagine and experience emotions without judgment and without any feeling. It's just that's what you want to experience as a child. You have that wonder in this world of I can do and be anything. But as your environment starts to take inform and take more control of your thoughts, your freedom of, and you start to identify with the environment and no longer the dream state that you were initially brought into this world with. And so when we talk to children and adults, a lot of things you would do with a child that say, when we talked on children that may have fell and got hurt, instead of admonishing them or saying for crying, a lot of times you can either ignore it or just change their attention to something else. And now they're no longer thinking about the pain. So now they're no longer in a state of pain anymore, change to something else. And so they've overcome the pain with their mind and realized that the pain was just because their focus was on that. So if you take a child and you put them in a situation where you start to show them how to dream again, or an adult and you just change their focus instead of just always identifying with the say the action or thing they may have done wrong or the experience that may hurt them, find a way to one just give their mind a break by just changing their focus and allowing them to imagine a place or a situation that just brings them joy, and they'll share that with you, whatever that may be. That's going to be different for everyone, but um, talking to them and just find a place where that just brings them happiness, and it can be anything. Um, and so just allow them just experience that, and you experience it with them, and just give their mind a break, and then allow them to, and then eventually it helps them to be able to enjoy themselves being alone, and maybe just even taking a step away from the things that they normally would do, um, to um, to basically form their thoughts. That it's basically a program. It's just constantly the same thought. Most people have 90% of this of 70,000 thoughts a day, and 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts they had the day before, and you don't even realize it. So you have the same triggers, you have the same things that make you happy, you have the same everything. So you're kind of there, but you don't have to be there. You can be anywhere you like, and a child has the ability to do it a lot quicker than an adult because they haven't experienced so much. So that's kind of how I think it's instead of really putting so much focus on the bullying and the labels and all that, just kind of get them a break to think about something different, something that brings them joy, something that they can just use their imagination, and realizing that while you're doing it with them, you're doing it as well, giving yourself a break. It's just us growing together with the children and whoever else we're sharing that moment with.
Wow, wow, wow. Come on,
Um,
Sissy, with your question.
my
That's deep,
question
Craig.
is,
Thank you.
my question is, once a kid is being bullied and they find that safe space and you're that safe space, and then you start to build a relationship with the student and making them more comfortable, and you're helping them through their situation, but then you become the target as being bullied by the parent, because now you've established a relationship with their child that they don't have. So now it's a problem between parent teacher, because you have
Mm-hmm.
established a relationship with their child, and they want to know what is it that you're doing with their child that they can't do. So what do you do in that sense as an educator with a parent?
I think it's always important to include the parents from the get-go. I mean, I am a firm believer in it takes a village. That's just how I raise my kids.
Yeah.
So my kids have all types of aunties and uncles out there that are not blood. So it's a mentality that if we've invited you to our home or in my child's life, by all means. But we all also know that boundary of providing informative information back. You aren't here to be the parent, you're there to be the auntie and the uncle, and there is a big difference there.
Right.
So I think bringing the parent and involving them from the onset to say, okay, I'm so and so, your child came to me for this, whether you know them or not, and letting them know the reason behind it, why you're, there. Are they comfortable with you being there? I think that's the best space. Unfortunately, there are circumstances where you may have had that, and maybe you understand there's more to the story than what you may even be told by that child. So at the end of the day, my opinion, that child comes first. Their livelihood comes first. So I will take whatever measures necessary to protect that child's life if there's something pretty severe in there. But I would firmly say bring the parents in as best as possible. Clearly, they may need somebody as well. You don't know.
Okay, here's
I'll jump in real
the thing.
quick.
What if the child is bullied at home? Now
So that's where I was going to jump in at.
Yeah. What if the kid come to you? Because we know, and as parents, listen, I know our kids don't tell us everything. Sometimes our kids could go out and they're more comfortable with talking with the outsider than they are with us. Because guess what? It goes back to that, you better not cry, and sometimes as parents, we don't listen to hear. We listen to respond because we think that we know everything. But if that child feels safe enough to go to someone and speak to them, it's a start. Now, their safe space. You're in your safe place. Just like if you're in domestic violence or whatever, they're not allowed to know where you're at.
Exactly.
That's their safe space. So it's not the safe space to go to that parent, because guess what? That kid have to go home. And if that kid was being bullied at home, it's chances that we never see that kid again.
And the reality is, Erica, honestly, everybody on this line right now was raised in a different era than we are today.
Definitely.
Parenting is very much different. The reason Maurice has a jar in every class and school he is because schools are different today. They have not created a safe space so children can feel safe to report their situations. Unfortunately, budgets have been cut. There's a whole lot of outside contracting that has gone on, and they just don't have the resources in the school. Let's call a spade a spade. My son is 20, just turned 26, and I had to hire an attorney 20 years ago to fight the district just to get him the services that he needed. Today, I had the resources too. I'm pretty sure the districts that I work with, the parents don't have those resources. So on top of that, we talking about children being bullied, not to mention if they have a disability, any other thing, the parents aren't involved anyway. So when you're asking how, do you get the parent once you have a relationship with them, you already then called the parents, not the first time, not the second time, not the fifth time. So now that the parent is seeing this, we have parent teacher conferences, we have more people at our tailgates than we do at the parent teacher conference. Let's just be real.
There you go. That's it.
We spend our whole days talking to each other than we have coming to our parent teacher conference.
But guess what's happening now? These days we have, and I was one, so I could speak on it. We have kids raising kids.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
And the thing is, now they have this thing where it says gentle parenting. If that works for
Right.
some, then so more it be. But my thing is, you just want to be, we got to be very, 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 very careful when we have kids around because I have two grandsons, and my 2-year-old grandson, he could mimic some of the things that you're doing and say them, But the thing is, everything is so open now.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
turn on TV, you see violence. You turn to this music, you hear violence. It's just so much that our kids are exposed to, and it's going to take a group like this to get inside of these schools, not just in schools, like I said, in teams, different,
You're
all
right.
across the nation. It's going to take people like us to get in there and do the work. We can't sit back and just talk about it. Hallelujah, Jesus. We have to get to work, people of God, because we're losing our children by the wayside, and it
Yeah.
can happen anymore. Thank God
Mm-hmm.
my two were covered and still covered, but there's some that's out there that's not covered. You
That's
understand?
right.
Right,
Maybe my
right.
kid had been, hallelujah. Maybe they had been bullied, but never told me. They could have told somebody else. And this is what I'm saying. When you have that safe place or that safe place, let them kids stay in that safe place and let them talk right there to get it out. Because guess what? We as a people, even adults ourselves, what we do, we try to fit in too. Let truth be told. Because
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
at the end
That's
of
so
the day,
true.
we want everybody to like us. We don't
Mm-hmm.
want people to think about us. Men, I see
Mm-hmm.
y'all masculine, but I guess it's just for us women. We don't want people to think bad of us.
I
No,
used to care. No more.
out, time out. We got to get into this thing, and we know we're gonna do this thing. So with a
Mm-hmm.
big announcement, Maurice, come on with it. Is Maurice
We
still on?
are, and see, this what I'm getting at. Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
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 Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we hear you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Okay. Well, number one, and like I said, when I came up and thought about the vision, people need to realize we know for the longest about a bully, right? A lot of people don't really know when they look at that mascot what that mascot really means.
Mm,
Bully. Okay, his name is Bully, and a reason his name is Bully. Bully stands for Buddies United, Living, Loving Youth. I'm gonna say it again. Buddies United, Living, Loving Youth. There should be a no bully zone at every school across the country. Because I'm listening to you when you say a safe place, okay?
right.
The
Mm-hmm.
kids should have a no bully zone safe place in every school.
Mhm.
That's number one. And this great idea that we're about to do across the country now, I'm teaming up with moms, and God just put it in my spirit. He put it in my spirit to do a no bully zone for moms. And my point is, by doing it that way, we will be getting the kids and we'll be getting the parents and the mothers. So when God gave me this vision and we by doing it this way, there is nobody left out. This
Mm-hmm.
facility can have mothers in there, can have fathers in there, and have kids in the same facility getting the resources that they need. And see, when I first thought about this whole concept of bully the bull, God has his hands on me in so many ways until I'm just meeting so many great people. And these 32 ambassadors will be able to take this to 32 other cities and spread it. Because
Mm-hmm.
what's going to happen when people see that when I tell you guys my story, a lot of people don't know the story. So we're going to become a chain fence around this country. And it all starts right now with Bullied Global 32 and Moms. You see what I'm saying? Because I think And I know I'm not going to say I think because I'm not going to say I think. I know God is about to move some mountains for what we're about to do because the nation need us right now. And I look at it I take it so serious because I know what I promised. I know what I promised my daughter. Okay. My daughter is the reason why Buddha the Bull was created. My daughter left my daughter left this earth April the 15th of this year. And I promised my daughter that I would not stop until I get your message across. And God just put several people into my life. And I'm gonna just tell everybody, just put your seatbelts on because we got a lot of kids to save, and God is gonna move us in the right direction. So I am so excited to team up with moms, Bully Global 32, and it's time for us to be that light. And we're gonna be that light because it's already written what's about to happen with what we're about to do. So I'm just so excited. And I want to say again, thanks, Nikki. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Erica. And I want to say thanks to all my ambassadors and thanks to you too, Miss Perriman. I just know God is about to do some amazing things. And none of this would be possible without you guys. So I want to just say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I appreciate it.
Yes, yes.
You're
Come on, Mr.
welcome.
Lewis. You're most welcome, Maurice. You're most welcome. So before we hear from Louise, because you've been kind of quiet over there, Mr. Vike. Listen, that's my mascot, my high school mascot, the Vikings. So when I want you to go ahead and tell us a little bit about maybe if you saw someone being bullied. No, let me give you a scenario. What happens if you're at a game and you see a parent bullying their child? How would you handle that?
Oh, honestly, I would handle it. I would definitely have to walk up to them and tell them to stop doing it. I mean, you see it everywhere. I've seen it in supermarkets,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm the first one to intervene. You know, this past school year, my grandson was being bullied by a girl, and I mean, and you know, like we said earlier, I'm old school, you know, and I'm like a girl, and he was coming home crying every day because you know we raised him. Hey, you don't hit women, you don't hit girls. So, you know, and me being old school, she probably likes you. You know, she has a crush on you because right away that's what we think. But now it was just getting out of hand. You know, the name calling. Then she started hitting him, and it was like, whoa. And, you know, and my daughter contacted the teacher, the principal. Oh, we're gonna have a meeting. And every time there was time for the phone call, no phone call. And this kept going on all the way to the end of the year. I mean, of course, we wind up moving, so he won't be going back to that school now. But nothing ever really got nothing got done. Nothing got done about it. And when it was going on, I was like, but why aren't you going over there and kicking down the principal's door? You know, how are you going to allow that? I mean, no, we don't do it. You know, Dad, we don't do things like that no more. And I'm like, wow. So what?
That's it.
You're going to let it happen? I mean, how do you just let it? I was telling her, I'll call all the news stations and plant them in front of the school and let them know how they're letting this get away. How are you going to let an 8-year-old child get bullied around? So that's
And you,
why me, I see anybody getting bullied. I mean, I did it even when I was bullied plenty when I was growing up, you know, just for being Spanish and not knowing how to speak English.
Wow.
And I had to learn how to actually get into a fight almost every day over it. Until that point that I was even old enough that if I saw someone get bullied, I was gonna fight them for bullying that poor kid, or he might have been a friend of mine.
mhm.
So this is a real big topic for me with the bullying. That's why I love that I'm part of this right now, because there's nothing I want more is not to see bullying anymore. So yeah,
Well, I think that times have definitely changed too because I know when we were in school, If the teacher called and said you did something, you were in trouble, period, point blank. But I've seen parents go to fight the teachers, and so they're afraid of even doing something or confronting the student
Very
or
true.
telling the parent because they're going to retaliate against them. And so, in your daughter's defense, she's like, "We don't do that no more," because she go up there, and then the parent get involved, and then you got a whole nother bullying situation going on.
That's right.
So that's where we have to really find out how do we rectify that situation, because it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just the mentality, and it comes from babies, like you said, raising babies now, and you know they get into situations, and then somebody do something trying to break up something, and then the parent want to know why you did that to mine, and then they mad, and then it's just going on and on and on, instead of letting those kids, because these kids will have a situation going on, and they'll be back friends, and now the parents mad at each other because they jumped in and intervened in something, and
Yeah,
it happens daily.
I mean, I think teachers got to be educated also.
Hmm.
After what happened with my grandson, and and y'all we're gonna have a meeting, and nothing ever got done. It's like, why did this teacher not really get involved with the situation to stop it? And
Because she
nothing was
might know
done.
something that's going on with that particular student, and
Yeah.
that particular student parents could be those people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they
Simple
just rather
sense of
not deal with the situation.
Yeah.
It's a
Like
sense
Seen
of
it firsthand.
entitlement.
I
It's a
got an
sense of
inbox last.
entitlement going on these days. I mean, every parent
Yes.
feels entitled, and I'm
Yeah.
entitled for my child to act this way. I'm
Hmm.
entitled to raise them that way. There's no consistency, in my opinion, in these school districts. And the only thing that's consistent is inconsistencies. I see teachers literally handcuffed, handicapped, I would say, to be able to address these situations. In my child's school, I've got a teenager and then I have one in elementary. I was shocked at what he told me, where racial slurs are said every day. He's a mixed
Hmm.
child. He hears them. And I'm like, why are you not reporting this? Mom, I have. What do you mean you have? They haven't done anything about this?
yeah. See,
Wow.
So, what my child did, I mean, this is kind of how we're looking for ways to make change that aren't so direct. So, one of the things he did is wrote a paper when they asked him those questions: what race are you? What, ethnicity and all of it. And my son wrote a letter to the school and said, I don't know why you need to know my race. I'll give you my ethnicity. And he went on this whole talk about who he was. And at the end of the day, he said, my name's Adalton Santos. That's all you need to know. And so his way to do that was to combat the fact that they're categorizing students and kids and human beings from the very beginning. Get rid of it. Stop putting us in these categories. That was his way. I embraced his way to do it. Next year, he didn't have those questions in front of him anymore. So he did it. He succeeded. The school district made that change. Did it change everything he encountered in one foul swoop? No. But that child learned to have a voice without aggression, and to do it in a way that was appropriate, and in a way to get the school to rethink how they addressed and maybe the culprits to the reason why these students feel that it's okay to call somebody racial names. Like, it starts when you're categorizing them. They think it's okay then. They think it's okay to put these people in these categories, and it's not okay. So a lot of work to be done, but I think it starts with these school districts. And I think, unfortunately, it's going to have to start in more subtle ways, because I think if it's attacked head on, fear ensues and the school districts throw up their hands.
So let's
Well,
talk to the educator.
another part of it is some parents are afraid of their kids.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hello. That
Right
is so
there.
especially nowadays.
And
But see,
then now it's not, the bullying is not just we bothering people; they bringing weapons and stuff in now. So it's just a whole nother ball game, honestly.
Something that was unheard of in
I'm
our
gonna let
time.
Sissy Sand talk because she's an educator really quick. But I wanted to just say what Lewis said and what you said, Casey. I got an inbox last night and the kid was bullied. The kid did not go back to school. She just could not fathom going back to school. This mother reached out to the school several times, did everything that she thought was right. Nothing was done. So, as an educator, coming from you, Sissy, what kind of suggestions can you give us to kind of like, what can we do? Like, what can we do when you have this happening? Far too often, where these schools are just, our kids are falling by the wayside. You're on mute.
I'm saying it's difficult, and I would say it depends on the situation of the status of the child and the living conditions. You don't want to overstep your boundaries, but at the same time, you don't want the child to be afraid to not to come to school. And it goes back to what I was saying, have that child find a safe space. And the parents, I guess, would need to be educated as well. You need to get down to the root of the problem, and then just let the parents know, you contact, you have a relationship with their child. It's not that you're trying to take over their responsibility, but it's that their child is comfortable talking to you, and you just try to nitpick certain questions with the parent and certain things with the student. And then if it's a serious issue, you have to get the counselor involved. But then that becomes an issue. And I think Stacy said you're a counselor as well, Stacy. Are you counsel kids? Okay, so in this situation where the child has confided in me as the educator, but then there's something that's really bad, and then I come to talk to you as a counselor, I think I broke the trust.
Mandated to report it.
But I broke the trust with the student because the student came to me as a safe space.
Right.
So
and then that mandate
a bigger issue.
Right.
Wow.
So that's a tough situation. It's a really tough situation.
And once you break that connection, that student's not going to come back and ask again.
Exactly.
But you know what I have found
but if educators and counselors are put in a position, if they can get in trouble if they don't report it.
That's why you're stuck.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. So it's like,
depending on the situation is, know how to handle it. Fortunately for me, I've been in the field long enough, and I have a good relationship with our children and family services. I started my career with them and with the county. So, our social services is good about handling that. If they're not going to remove the child, they put safeguards in place. I can say that, and we work well with our systems. I think as educators, therapists, social workers, police personnel, all of the people that are mandated, you have to use you just have to use good judgment on how you are going to handle it and how you're going to deal with it, especially nowadays when you're working with these babies that are being abused at home. Are they being abused in school with the lackluster of the resources that the schools have now? You just have to be, decide on how we're going to handle it as a team within the school system. I work well with the people I work close with. So we make those decisions as a team. How are we going to handle that? Because we know what we're working with the lack of parents that are involved.
Let's take it to football because we keep talking about school. We all know. Let's take it all the way back to Little League. What is that? What they call it now? Little League.
Pop Warner.
Okay. Let's take it all the way back there. Now you're taking your kid faithfully to play a sport that he likes to play, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But you have coaches who have favoritism and may not play your child the way that you think that they should. And it can be that our kid may be acting out, maybe, who's to say, or it's just really favoritism there. But what I had a problem with and still have a problem with, and guys, you could come on and chime in on this because, again, we're the little softies when it comes to our children. But that hitting upside, the helmet is already heavy. You're slapping them behind the head and you're saying these things to them in front of all of their teammates. How do you think that's going to make them feel? You
Mm-hmm.
know, our kids are going out there to play just like all the other kids. It's Little League. Everybody should get a chance. How do you grow?
Mm.
Well,
Can you
but
grow if I'm not getting to
I've
play?
always had an issue with it, so
Well,
I'm the wrong person to address that with.
well, back in the day, you know, that was when we played, you know, back in the day, that was like motivations. Some players hit each other across the head, you know. But of course, we're in a different time now, so you know, I can only, like you said, I can only speak back then when we played. You know, hitting helmets, coach slap you on the head like that. You know, that was okay. But
Well,
now,
yeah,
not these days. These parents will come and beat the coach up
I'm telling
right,
these
you.
right.
But no,
days.
let me
yeah,
finish. Okay, your teammate hitting you side the head, probably
That's a
saying, "Good
different
job, boy.
world today.
Good job." But when you have a coach hit you across the head and saying something that's not so nice, in front of the kids is what I'm saying. Because
Well, these
okay,
children will get back with them these days. I know back in my days, we didn't talk back to coaches, teachers, or
oh
nothing.
yeah,
But today,
Yeah.
they
no.
fear nothing. The kids
Well,
don't even fear their parents anymore.
Well,
I
that's
think
what that's the
as a
thing. It's they're learning that from the parents or what is the adult figures around them that literally they're being taught speak up for yourself. Don't let anybody do that instead of being taught respect and boundaries.
Well, in
And
some parents'
I think
defense, it is
boundaries
not always the parent.
that's
It's
No,
because some people parents are at work and these kids just
exactly.
make bad choices and choose to do what they do.
that's it.
And
Come
it
on,
has
Craig.
absolutely nothing to do with the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to let the guys take over, y'all, because y'all know
yeah,
we could go ahead and
well,
Our
yeah, I
mama
have,
bears will come out, our claws.
mm,
yeah.
yeah, I had, like I have, well, I have 5 kids, but my boys are the oldest, so I had all my boys first, and then, my 2 daughters, and my kids play sports at a high level, and what I realized was that, you see certain situations where you feel like it's favoritism and things like that, and you see how it affects your child. Um, but what I realized was that my child does not have to, like, there's a difference between a coach that's hard on you and pushing you, and maybe like you said, when I was younger, getting smacked in the head, but you still can tell that person cares about the child, and they're just motivating them, giving them a little edge, bringing that fight out of that child in a way.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll see the coach be that way, but you also see how you a lot of the times you notice that, but you miss the 100 times that they have been building that child up,
Hmm.
and so we have to, because we only kind of notice the negative, and we take for granted the positive. So as a parent, when you have a child on the team, you really have to gauge the sincerity of the coach, and also understand that child does not have to play that sport. This is not something that has to be done or on that team until they're emotionally mature enough to understand um, the difference between competition and all those other things that are really not as life or death as it may seem to be, and just allow them to enjoy it. And then as a parent, then you can kind of just sit back and just not have to say much, just enjoy your child doing what they love to do in
Hmm.
an environment where you kind of prepared them to say, well, you know what? Instead of me trying to fight the coach, we just go play somewhere else, or we just go do something else. Just that simple. We don't have to have this struggle with people, and put yourself in a state of mind and your child in a state of mind that every time someone does something they don't like, that they're against them and they have to endure it when they don't have to most of the time. They can do something else.
Craig, how does and I've seen these situations, and it's hard because that child's likely part of that team because his friends are part of that team. So it's not just the
Yeah.
sport, but that's what's
Hmm.
providing him, as we just talked, that safe spot. Those are his safe
Hmm.
people. Now you have a person who's in power controlling their safe spot. So it's been I've had this discussion, and it's hard to teach a child it's okay to not be a part of that. But the truth is, it's also okay to be a part of it and somehow hold a coach accountable these days. And I
Yeah,
think this is
absolutely.
what we all struggle with. It's goes back to a question I had earlier is, you know, when is that? When do you hold somebody accountable? When do you see them in the wrong where it is detrimental to your child? They've done everything right. Why
I
should
think
that
that
person be empowered while my child misses out?
Well, I think that you'll just as the situation, you'll just kind of know, how like some situations is like, is it worth your time to to fully engage whatever may be going on, and then sometimes you just know that there's no way that I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to, you know what I mean? Just like Louise said, there's no way that I'm letting an 8-year-old continue to get bullied without me doing something about it, and then that means that whatever I feel is necessary, that's what I'm going to do, and and you try to you want to be that example now, because when you're in a pressure situation, um your true self is showed. When you're squeezed, what's in you comes out of you, and your
Mm-hmm.
children are watching. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's the time where they're really going to learn the most from you, is how, it's the grace you show when you handle a stressful situation, and you handle it in a loving and strong way. Being loving doesn't mean being soft. Being loving means that you're actually stronger than any other emotion, because it takes the patience and the kindness and the long suffering and all those things. But it also takes, I'm not going to accept certain behaviors. I'm just not. But I'm not going to respond back with the same sort of intention.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna diffuse it
Yeah.
in a way that shows respect that I would want to have in that situation, and vice versa.
Right.
I have a question for Matt, because Matt, you're a first responder. And I spoke earlier about a young lady that I had on It Had to Happen, who boyfriend tried to decapitate her head, right? Um,
Mm.
this is the thing. She dated the young man. The daughter picked up the red flags within no time. Didn't pay attention to what daughter was telling her until that guy broke into her house and started slicing. She was stabbed over 22 times. Her
Wow.
head was barely hanging on, and you have to have four EMTs to kind of two to hold her head in place to get her on that stretcher.
Jesus.
But the thing is, as parents, when our kids are telling us something, like, how is that for you to see something? If you would have walked in on that, Matt, I don't know. It's just the thought of it when she was telling me about it. But I'm quite sure you see things more worse than that. But just hearing that, what do you think about that? She
There's
didn't listen.
been a lot of uptick in more violent actions, family actions. Um, and again, I mean, it's sometimes the people involved, like if that daughter was saying something to her, maybe she didn't want that to be true and didn't want to take what she was saying as a warning sign. One of those things where you can come tell me something about somebody, but I know that person, so I'm not going to listen to you, and then come to find out it's true. Some of it
Mm-hmm.
is not neglect, but just disbelief. But there's a lot of uptick in violence, and it all, I mean, ultimately, most of it zeroes back to some type of bullying, or, I mean, ultimately, a lot of that is bullying, just people look at it a different way. Um, but yeah, there's a lot going on out there now. We're not sure why, but we're going into it a lot more.
Yeah, it definitely was bullying, because I remember she was saying one of the times they were riding in the car, and just because she liked a different player, a basketball player, he just took his hand and just socked her and say, you're not supposed to be basically liking that player. So we do have a whole lot of bullying going out there. Yeah, it's 7:54, guys. We have to do a part two, because I like to be respectful of everybody's time, and I know that I'm hungry. But this last question, this last comment we have here touched me so deeply. I'm gonna let Sissy, you can read this, and then everybody just chime in on it one at a time.
Times have definitely changed. I taught in the same schools I went to as a kid and have seen bullying, disrespect, and more only get worse over the years. I'm going to add to what Kat said earlier when she said it takes a village. It absolutely does, along with lots of uncomfortable conversations, having open minds, lots of check ins, and so much more. It takes a village and beyond. With the right people, resources, and the right influences surrounding kids, I believe progress can be made. I
Yes.
absolutely agree.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It
100%.
Totally
will be
agree.
made with Global 32.
Yes.
That's come on. We're gonna start from bottom to top. Come on, Nikki, chime in on that.
Yeah, I agree with him. And my granddaughter right now is at the same K through 12 school that I went to, K through 12, which is Family High. And I think it just has to do with the 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 administration back then. They really cared and about that school, like that was their school, and we were their kids. And you know, now tradition mattered, you know. And I think today tradition just doesn't matter, and people are there more so for their paycheck. Back then, I think they were there because they really loved what they were doing and they cared about the kids, and they had bonds, and it was a village. Because if we did something, they got on to us, and when we got home, we got dealt with too. And now it's just that they're there for that check. They don't really care what's going on. It just doesn't matter. And that goes to what Louis was saying, about just being bullied every day, every day. I've had that with my granddaughter. Like, they always saying I have weave because she has the texture hair is long or whatever, and not everybody who has long hair has weave. Bullying comes in many, many forms, and it was to the point where she was like, love cheerleading. Those kids love sports, love cheerleading. She was like finding ways. I'm sick. I'm not going to cheer. What is going on? So we know, if you're a parent and you pay attention to those kids, you know when something is wrong. But I just think that, like he said, back in the day, there was a village, not so much now.
Okay, Stacy.
I agree 100%. We use that slogan all the time, but I think probably everybody on this platform came from a village. If it wasn't you, you reported, the neighbor told on what you did when your parents got home, and you got it from them. So I think if we adopted that, we would have less of um, the situations and incidents that we have now. So I think we need to go back to adopting that village mindset within our community.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, Craig.
Um, yeah. Once again, I'm sure we all agree, and I agree as well with the statement about the village. But what I do, believe is that our thoughts are incredibly important, and we have to be able to imagine what that village is going to look like. Like, what is that experience going to look like? Um, we're talking about, we want this to stop and that to stop. Well, how does that look? What is the experience now in a world where there's no bullying, in a world where there's no the things that bring us so much pain? And in order to do that, we have to, kind of take a pause and stop, kind of take a step away from the actual circumstance and focus on the vision of where we want it to be, because you can't bring a child or anyone into a situation that you don't have an idea of what that's going to look like. And sometimes, because of we have so much access to so many things that's going on, it's kind of hard for us to even believe that it's possible. So if you can't really believe that it's impossible even on a small scale, then it's going to be incredibly impossible. It's basically impossible to experience it. And so that once we get a vision of what in our mind right now, which is free and takes no effort besides just our imagination, all of those things will come into place to support that. the going back to the village, going back to everyone just looking out for each other. That's the byproduct of the vision that started in the beginning. So we just have to start from the end first and just trust that all those things that are going to be necessary to get to that point will start to just naturally start to do its thing and happen.
Thank you. Thank you. Come on, Louis.
Well, I 100% agree. You know, there's a saying that I used to tell my kids when they were younger. I have 3 daughters. And now I tell my grandsons, if we work together, we win together. That's just the bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
You got to stick together always. That's how you're going to beat all these problems. Sometimes you can't just lay it on your own shoulders, you know? So, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
All right. Come on, Matt.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean, like on our fire department side, we're a combination. We have volunteers and full time. There has been a change in society where there's not that community buy-in from people anymore. Some of it is, it doesn't affect me, so I don't need to be a part of it. But obviously, it does take a village. I'm going to get a little emotional, but just even like with this group we have, I didn't know anybody that's in this group. I was just a fan of an NFL football team.
Yeah.
And now this group's been together. We have talked to a kid from New Jersey that went through this. People in a village are put into that place for a reason. That's what we're here for.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's a village.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Come on, Eric.
Well, I actually think that, back in the day, we did have a village. Unfortunately, these days, the village has changed. It's not a village anymore, because when some of the kids are having issues in school these days, some of the teachers are 20 and 21 years old, and they're trying to be friends with the children. So it's not like old school teachers where you can really you felt like someone had your back, but these days, it just starting with some of the teachers, it's unfortunate, but they're just too young to understand. They just want to still hang with the children, with the students.
Wow. Come on, Miss Casey.
I'm probably going to get emotional with Matt as well. So Steve is actually a friend from elementary school, so he's been part of my village. I'm looking at a lot of comments, and I must say I'm blessed. I'm blessed in life. That's where I get emotional. I have had a village, and I've kept that village. But guys, I've had to work to keep that village. I've put myself out there. I've put myself public in times that I've had to endure ridicule and maybe not handled it the best way. Maybe spoke too rash, too harshly. So I get that villages are hard. With anything, you will get out of it what you put into it. I put a lot of work into mine. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed to see individuals still following me who I have known for over 30 years, and they're showing up for a podcast because that's what we do, and that's what we were raised about. And I'll continue to make my village as diverse as possible. I'm a true believer that there's always the whole yin and yang. There's always going to be negative to positive, but I believe positive will always outshine that negativity. Right. I'll end by saying I read something a couple days ago, and it was on social media. It was unexpected where I found it, and it has rang through to me, and something I want to start instilling within my own household and outwardly. But it was a mother who said, we have a thing in our house and we teach. Never say anything to somebody that they can't change in 30 seconds. They call it the 30-second rule. Wow. So if you're saying something to somebody, positive or negative, really, if you think about it, if it's something they can't change in 30 seconds about themselves or anything, it's best unsaid.
Wow.
It rained through to me, and it's something I want to start incorporating into my own life because I often react. We've talked about a lot of reactions here.
Yes.
And I'm guilty of that. I'm very guilty of got high anxiety that goes on, my mental thing that I deal with. And I react, I'm irritable, I'm irrational, quite frankly. So I want to try to retrain my mind of that 30-second rule. If I'm saying something to somebody that they can't change in 30 seconds about themselves, it shouldn't be said at all. So
That's
Amen.
yeah.
I agree.
That's good. Come on, Sissy.
brilliant.
And
What I would say is, I agree with everyone. It does take a village, but also within that village, you need to keep that line of communication. You got to have
Yes.
communication as well as education.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to
Yes.
educate the children, the parents, and the village in
Mm-hmm.
order for everybody to be on the same accord and to be one.
absolutely. Come on, Mr. Maurice, bully the bull.
He may not, Erica, he sent me a message and the physical therapist was there, so he was helping them, like lift his mom or whatever. So he may be there. He may just not, he may have it on mute, maybe trying to
Okay.
get there. Yeah.
No problem. I just want to read one of my posters that I put up. Sometimes God puts you in a situation because he put something in that situation that's needed. So go and power, guys. Do everything in your power to. We're gonna make a change. It is time. One student at a time, one child at one adult at a
Yes.
time. You know, it's an all around thing. Sometimes, like you said, Miss Casey, you get irritable sometimes. It happens to the best of us. We're
Mm-hmm.
but we keep trying to put our best foot forward. And that's what I want all of us to do here at Global 32 and as well as moms. That's what we do. That's what we want to be about. We don't want to sit behind the screen and just say we're going to do these things. We want to really be about these things. And the only way that we can do that is continue to keep putting God first in every that we do. So kind and most gracious Father God, we come to you, God, as humbly as we know how, Father. First of all, I have to lift up Matt, Father. Matt is a first responder, oh God. He laid down his life for many, oh God. So Father God, I pray, God, that you continue, Father, to build a hedge of protection around him every day. Not just him, oh God, his co-workers as well, oh God. Even the people, oh God, he come in contact with, oh God. Oh God, I pray, God, that you shine a light, oh God, in him, oh God, so the people around him can see the glory of you inside of him. And as everybody take on their positions, oh God. Father God, I ask God that you pour into us so we can pour out to your people, oh God. There's so many hurting people out here, oh God, that need our help, oh God. So Father God, I pray, God, that you continue to pour into us. You continue to strengthen us, protect our minds, oh God, and let us do the work of the Lord. In your son, Jesus' name, God, we give you the glory. God, we give you the honor. God, we give you the praise. In your son, Jesus' name, amen, amen,
Amen. Amen.
awesome.
Amen.
We're going to do this thing. So I just want to say to our viewers, thank you. We cannot do this without you, and you. So thank you for listening. And if you found this message today helpful or insightful, please don't forget to like, comment, share it with others who might benefit from the discussion. And guys, stay strong. Stay strong. If you need someone to lean on, you got us.
Yes.
Have us. We are a village. We're gonna do this, guys. Oh, I did not. I'm so sorry. All right. Last but not least, September 14th. Excuse me. We are partnering with Bully Global 32 in Duval for our second. There you go, Nikki. Tailgate and tea time. Guys, you do not want to miss this event. Trust and believe it is going to be amazing. It is a red carpet event, but come on out. We would love, love, love to have you all. And we do not like leaving this broadcast without showing the people some love. Let's go ahead and give out some virtual hugs really quick. Oh my God, I'm sending you guys hugs too and some virtual love. We love you here at It Hot.
Yeah.
You won't give me my hearts for y'all. Okay, well, y'all know I love you guys. And I thank all of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to get here and share and spread so much awareness. Guys, we went 2 hours over and 9 minutes.
Erica, we thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
You
Yes.
guys are on a mission for you all, not just one didn't drop out. You all are still here. That says a lot, a whole lot. Let's do it, y'all. Let's go across the globe and do this. Bully Global 32 is teaming up with Mom. Sissy, are you ready? Are you ready? God bless you.
Hold up. Hold up.
Bye-bye. I love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.